And today we have another review lesson. It's wonderful practice again, coming back again. Remembering that the familiar, the perception, the form can but deceive. We seem to meet every day, the same time, the same people. That's form. We still cannot conclude that we know this situation and these people. These people aren't people. It's seen by the filter of the ego. So we are here to completely be open to a whole other level of experience. So we will let the lesson for today lead us in to that mind, to that right mind. To really let go of our conclusions. You want to read the lesson?
God is but love, and therefore so am I. I give the miracles I have received. God is but love, and therefore so am I. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. God is but love, and therefore so am I.
The underlying idea, again, is God is but love, and therefore so am I. The specific ideas to practice right now and throughout our day is I give the miracles I have received. The miracles I have received. And the second idea, I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. I am at home. Fear is the stranger here. We have another precious opportunity. Choose our right mind. To use today's lesson. And if that's not enough, we can use something else too from the course. We can think about what kind of day we want, what kind of state of mind we want today. Maybe a day of clarity. Maybe a peaceful day. Or a day of feeling connected. Or a day of joy. A joy beyond what we are used to. You can check in, what kind of day would you like? And once you have found out, we can join together in figuring out how you will get that kind of day. With Jesus' help. He's saying that decisions are continuous. You continually make decisions in your mind. And you don't even always know when you are making them. But with a little practice, with the ones you recognize, a set begins to form which sees you through the rest. It's not wise to let you become preoccupied with every step you take. But the proper set, adopted consciously each time you wake in the morning, will put you well ahead. And if you find resistance strong and dedication weak, you're not ready. Don't fight yourself. But think about the kind of day you want and tell yourself there is a way in which this very day can happen just like that. This very day. Not another day or another time, this day. And try again to have the day you want. Try again to have the day you want. The outlook starts with this. Today, I will not make decisions by myself. I will make no decisions by myself. This means that you are choosing not to be the judge of what to do. You're not the one to judge what to do. But it must also mean that you will not judge the situations where you will be called upon to make response. For if you judge them, you have set the rules for how you should react to them. And that cannot but produce confusion and uncertainty and fear when you have decided how to react. This is your major problem now. You still make up your mind and then decide to ask what you should do. The problem is that you make up your mind, even maybe about your state of mind. You judge conditions. And what you hear may not resolve the problem as you saw it first. This leads to fear because it contradicts what you perceive, and so you feel attacked. He's explaining the psyche, explaining the psychological aspect of the mind. And when you feel attacked, you feel angry. But there are rules by which this will not happen. But it does occur at first while you're learning how to hear. Throughout the day, at any time you think of it and have a quiet moment for reflection, I'd say this could be any time. You can have a quiet moment of reflection. Tell yourself again the kind of day you want, the feelings you would have, the things you want to happen to you, and the things you would experience, and say, if I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. These two procedures, practiced well, will serve to let you be directed without fear. For opposition will not first arise and then become a problem in itself. If I make no decisions by myself, this is the day that will be given me. If you decided for a peaceful day or a joyful day, or a day of connecting, even the things will happen that will happen to you. You can even put that in there. Is to keep remembering, I will not make decisions by myself. I need to join with my true advisor, with my true guide, before I make a decision, before I decide what to do. With the ego, we just decide things to do. So this is a way of pausing. So wait a minute, I forgot. So instead of going for this decision, I want to ask what kind of day I want first. Join with the Holy Spirit. There will still be times when you have judged already. Now the answer will provoke attack unless you quickly straighten out your mind to want the answer that will work. Be certain this has happened if you feel yourself unwilling to sit by and ask to have the answer given to you. If you notice you're unwilling, to ask, if you're unwilling to be still for a moment, then you can be sure you have made a decision by yourself, forgetting to join with a true advisor. This means you have decided by yourself and cannot see the question. The question, what kind of day do I want? Now you need a quick restorative before you ask again. You need a quick shift of your mind. Remember once again the day you want and recognize that something has occurred that is not part of it. Something has happened that is not part of the kind of day you had asked for. Then realize you have asked a question by yourself. You must have set an answer in your terms. Then say, I have no question. I forgot what to decide. Forgot to decide to have a peaceful day or a happy day. When you say, I forgot what to decide, this cancels out the terms that you have set and lets the answer show you what the question must have really been. This is like a questioning of a state of mind. And you remember to do this. This is a questioning of a state of mind that you don't want. You think you're a victim to, or at the mercy of, projected onto something outside, some circumstance. That's not a real cause. The circumstance is never the real cause of your state of mind. Remember once again the day you want and recognize that something has occurred that is not part of it. Then realize that you have asked the question by yourself and must have set an answer in your terms. Then say, I have no question. I forgot what to decide. This cancels out the terms that you have set and lets the answer show you what the question must have really been. Try to observe this rule without delay, despite your opposition. Try to observe this rule without delay, despite your opposition. This is good. This is saying, don't listen to the ego. Observe this rule. I must have made a decision by myself. I forgot to ask for peace of mind. Or fill in the blank of what you had decided that you wanted for the day. So try to observe this rule without delay, despite your opposition, for you have already gotten angry. and your fear of being answered in a different way from what your version of the question asks will gain momentum until you believe the day you want is one in which you get your answer to your question. And you will not get it, for it would destroy the day by robbing you of what you really want. This can be very hard to realize when once you have decided by yourself the rules that promise you a happy day. But this decision still can be undone by simple methods that you can accept.
It's good news.
You want to explain this one?
Yeah, once you have your own agenda for what you want, some personal gain, then you can't get the peaceful day. That's what he's saying. And you won't get the peaceful day because you think that it's going to take away the special thing that you think you want. But he's saying we can still undo that personal agenda. We can still undo fear-based thinking with these simple methods that he's giving to us today. Okay, so he goes on. If you are so unwilling to receive, you cannot even let your question go. You can begin to change your mind with this. At least I can decide I do not like what I feel now. So again, when we're suffering, when we're in tension, when we're in upset, just realizing I don't want this is very helpful. Realizing it helps us to see we've gotten into our wrong mind. And we'd like to change that. Having decided that you do not like the way you feel, what could be easier than to continue with, and so I hope I have been wrong.
Yeah, and the next line. This works against the sense of opposition and reminds you that help is not being thrust upon you, but is something that you want and that you need because you do not like the way you feel. So to come into that experience, like I don't like the way I feel, I must need some help. That is crucial. Because there's something with the ego, it wants you to feel bad. With choosing the ego as your advisor, you want to stay in a loop of feeling bad about something, of having an issue with something, having a problem. And it will go on and on and on that way until you pause and say, no, I forgot what I should ask for. I must have asked the question by myself. Must have forgotten to join with the Holy Spirit. When you do that, this tiny opening will be enough to let you go ahead with just a few more steps you need to let yourself be helped. Okay, what are those steps? Now you have reached the turning point because it has occurred to you that you will gain if what you have decided is not so. You will gain something if what you have decided isn't true. If what you've decided on your own isn't true, you will actually receive something better. Until this point is reached, you will believe your happiness depends on being right. This is a stern belief in the mind that you're right about something. It can be very stubborn. That's also why there is resistance to doing this practice. And it is so strong. It's like a clinging that in the ego mind, it's clinging to be right because it is so fearful of letting go of control. It's terrified of letting go of control. You're terrified of letting go of control. That's where you do need to dare to ask the right question. To dare to open up to join with the right guide. Not with yourself. Not with thinking you know, not with being right. And this much reason have you now attained. You would be better off if you were wrong. That wisdom you have by now, you would be better off if you were wrong. This tiny grain of wisdom will suffice to take you further. You're not coerced, but merely hope to get a thing you want. You are not coerced, but merely hope to get a thing you want. And you can say in perfect honesty, I want another way to look at this. That's an honest that you can agree with. I want another way to look at this. Now you have changed your mind about the day and have remembered what you really want. Its purpose has no longer been obscured by the insane belief you want its purpose has no longer been obscured by the insane belief you want it for the goal of being right when you are wrong. You've let go of the idea that you have to be right when you're actually wrong. You're wrong about the interpretations of the reasons for how you feel, like the conditions, the form. Thus is the readiness for asking brought to your awareness, for you cannot be in conflict when you ask for what you want and see that it is this for which you ask. You realize you ask for what you want. This is like my will is one with God's. You need to remember to ask for what you truly want, not for suffering and pain. I want a mind in alignment with God's will. This final step is but acknowledgement of lack of opposition to be helped. It's an acknowledgement of lack of opposition to be helped. You realize you don't want to oppose help. Or in other words, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you. Like if you look at a scared animal, they could bite the hand that feeds them. Could be in like a defensive place. Like a little dog here on the property, he's barking like crazy when we walk by as if he's threatened by us. or we just want to love him. And he almost attempts to bite our legs when we walk by. But even he was changing his mind one day. Barret was waiting for me. We were going to go out for an appointment, and waiting by the car, and the dog had completely shifted into this. He was just sitting there loving, like I could feel him. I could feel his gratitude. This Barret had been communing with his higher self. The truth. He told the dog how loved he is. So there is an acknowledgement of lack of opposition to be helped. You don't need to oppose the help. You can trust that what Spirit gives is what is helping you. It must be clear that it is easier to have a happy day, if you prevent unhappiness from entering at all. But this takes practice in the rules that will protect you from the ravages of fear. When this has been achieved, the sorry dream of judgment has forever been undone. When this has been achieved, the sorry dream of judgment has forever been undone. The sorry dream of judgment is thinking that you know something, about anything. But meanwhile, you have need for practicing the rules for its undoing. Let us then consider once again the very first of the decisions which are offered here. We said you can begin a happy day with a determination not to make decisions by yourself. This seems to be a real decision in itself, and yet you cannot make decisions by yourself. You cannot make decisions by yourself. The only question really is with what you choose to make them. That is really all. The first rule then is not coercion, but a simple statement of a simple fact. You will not make decisions by yourself, whatever you decide. For they are made with idols or with God. And you ask help of Antichrist or Christ, and which you choose will join with you and tell you what to do. That's how powerful your mind is again. Again, we're reminded of how powerful our mind is, with which guide we choose will lead us to an experience. So this is just deep inquiry, and it's not even very deep. It's just inviting us to go slow enough to realize that we need to make decisions with the Christ rather than with idols. Rather than saying, this is best for me. This is what I believe I need. This is what I believe I need to do. All of that is Antichrist, it's idols. Say, I don't know what I need. I want a happy day. I don't want a form outcome. I just want a happy day. I just want to be happy. I want a happy state of mind. If I don't make this decision by myself, I'll have this form outcome. I will have a happy day. If I open up to being led by Christ, by Spirit, if I let go of form outcome, I may still get what I think I want and think I need if it doesn't slow my awakening down. But it can't be the goal. Then we forgot, then we used the body as an end and not a means. The day is not at random. It is set by what you choose to live it with and how the friend whose counsel you have sought perceives your happiness. Isn't that a sweet line? The day is set by what you choose to live it with, which friend you choose to live it with, which friend whose counsel you have sought perceives your happiness. So if the ego is your friend, the day is set by the ego. You will only receive the gifts of the ego, the gifts. Not gifts, they are not good. Claws. Not footmarks, claws. They're the opposite of gifts. They rob you. It's like choosing to be with a thief rather than with the bringer of peace. You always ask for advice before you can decide on anything. Let this be understood, and you can see there cannot be coercion here, nor grounds for opposition that you may be free. You always ask advice before you can decide on anything. So if you don't feel good, you have asked advice of a very poor guide. This is what we must understand. We need to understand the power of the mind. We need to come down to that deep place in the mind where we have power, where we are aware that we have power. Because the victim that is living on the surface will not give you very good advice or guidance. It will tell you something has gone wrong. Something outside of you has determined your state of mind. Even if it is like the weather, even that. Or another person, which is more common, probably. There is no freedom from what must occur. And if you think there is, you must be wrong. Okay, let's try to understand that one. You always ask advice before you can decide on anything. But there is no freedom from what must occur. And if you think there is, you must be wrong. To me, this means that you have no power over form. You can release this idea that you have control over the world. Because that is very hard. That is too much responsibility for your holy mind. You're not responsible for form, even if it happened in the past, or if it's happening now. I can control my state of mind, but I cannot control the world of form. So even if you think you have done wrong in the past, think you have caused hurt or pain for someone else even, you can release that you have any control over that. That's the script. The script is written and you cannot control it. But you can control which advisor you choose in your mind. You can choose what you join with in your mind. That's forgiveness. We watched a beautiful movie yesterday, Treasures of the Snow. And not until the girl joined with the Christ, she became happy. She released the idea of being right about something that had occurred. She released the attack thought. She became humble. It was a humble pie, kind of, because she said, oh, do I really have to talk to the boy that I have hurt? Do I really need to tell him? And Spirit was like, yeah, gently. She was still the one that decided. She was the one in control. Seemingly. Because in the end, you are actually one with Christ. You're one with Spirit. There is not ego, spirit, and yourself. It's just ego or spirit. You are what you align with. So she aligned with Spirit. And that's what spoke. It's a beautiful movie. If you didn't see it, watch it. We watch it with the family, Laurie. It's sweet for the kids too. Treasures of the Snow. Well, maybe this is it, I think. You can read the rest of Rules for Decision. If you like, it's chapter 30, part 1. It's 2 more paragraphs. It's all about an experience. That's what I see when I read this. Just don't have to kind of try to figure out anything. Just remember it's about an experience. You don't have to be super smart to understand the course. You have to just be willing and desire the experience of peace. This feels good. Feels like we are now in a very good position for this day. So I think we will leave it with this. Bye. Have a very peaceful day or a happy day.